Educational tour requests.
Kristen handles all the educational tours that come through staff, and there were some questions submitted, so I'll let Kristen answer the questions.
So the forms were slightly reformatted to streamline the process for the board as well as the staff. There were some questions submitted about food. The requests do outline if students are responsible or if that is included, but we can certainly pull that out so it's more explicit, and we can revise them for the second read. And we can provide an estimate of what the food cost would be should students be purchasing the food on their own. Of the 5 tours, 4 of them have occurred for the past several years. The new tour this year is the wrestling trip. Last year, the team participated in the Pontiac tournament, and they had a very late night on Friday, and then they came all the way back, and then they had a really early morning on Saturday. And so this provides them additional time to sleep and to prepare for their match on Saturday. There was a question about the pre-weigh-in meals for them. Typically, wrestlers don't eat before their match, but the plan for that trip is to get a lot of groceries from Costco, and students will primarily be eating that on Friday and Saturday. So there is food available should they want to eat it before the wrestling match.
I just overall make the same comment as last year when you did it. It's like, here's the total cost. Don't take it out of activity fund or whatever. Here's what the students are going to pay, including like an estimate of the food, so that it's just logical here, instead of each one, it's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle trying to figure out what, you're actually presenting.
Yeah, so many of them had a chart to streamline that, and we can certainly add food to that chart so that that's up front and we can provide an estimate.
The other thing I would suggest we consider, see if Gary and the others agree, is, a few years ago we went to the effort to say, like for the summer, for renting and for the summer, that we allocate cost of the building and, maybe the trainer or whatever. When we see these, some people take mini buses and some don't on these field trips, but the mini bus costs money too, and it makes it seem like it's free. I think we should consider coming up with some rate for the mini bus, whether you do it by miles or days, or there's several different ways you could do it, to say, okay, if it's 50 cents a mile and they're going to travel 200 miles, it's $100 for the mini bus or whatever, so that people realize there is additional cost to this. And I'm not even saying in this instance we should say the students have to reimburse the school, because part of the idea of the mini bus is they'd be available to save other busing that you have to pay out of pocket, and except for the gas that is shared by everybody. But I think again, as you get into where you're deficit spending, people have to realize there's costs for these things. Still, it's not a free pass. So I don't know how other people feel about that, but it seems like we should make sure we're addressing all the costs.
Yeah, they do pay for the cost of gas
Right.
for the trip. My hesitation for that would only be that, we don't price that cost out when the softball team takes that to go to all of their games, as opposed to getting a yellow bus, because that's the purpose of the bus, or when AST takes it every week to go to the British home. And so I would be really cautious about giving those additional costs to the students, because most of the time they're already paying not only for the educational tour, but they're paying to participate in that activity too. And so I would just be cautious, since we're leasing them, to put that cost onto the students too. That would be my recommendation. There were also 2 other questions that you submitted. Or one, sorry. The other one was on the Illinois Theater Fest. So 3 chaperones is not necessary. 2 would be necessary, but 3 is preferred, because there's so many different workshops occurring at the same time in different places on campus that it's helpful to have 3 chaperones to make sure that all the students are supervised. So that's why they prefer.
So even though there's only 8 students, they're going to be all spread out all over the place.
Yes, yeah, and it's on a college campus.
And does chaperones have to pay their own cost anyway?
No, the chaperones are included in the cost for students.
I don't think I don't think it doesn't show that.
The registration fee, like for example, for the Illinois Theater Fest, we pay for the registration fee
Right.
for the chaperones.
What about the rooms? If you look at the rooms, they're all shown by how many students rooms there are.
Yeah, the rooms I believe they pay for, but I think the registration cost is included
Okay, I
for
meant
that one.
the room. They have to pay for their own room and food, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
I didn't look at the dates or the day of the week these are on. Are these typically weekend?
Yes, typically, sometimes they miss like a half a day. Of the Model UN, I believe, they miss a half a school day for that, but most of the time,
So the individual taking them, and would we have to put a substitute out there?
for that, yes.
So in approving these, we're also approving the fact that we're gonna pay substitute cost, right?
Correct, yeah.
Which isn't identified in here.
No, because that's not a cost per,
Right, no, not for the
It's not a
student,
big
not
cost
for
for
the,
the
but
student.
by approving this, just, okay.
so it's another cost for the program. I'd like to say, I do agree with Tim for these events, because these are a one-time event. It's not a regular program. There is a federal amount per mile, so I think it's about 52 cents a mile. It includes the gas and the wear and tear on the minibus. The minibuses are for our everyday use, but when we take them on these little trips, we're using them up at a greater rate than our everyday use for going to the softball field or whatever. So I think that should be taken into account for these unique trips.
We could look at it. It's something we could track some data on and see. I mean, Model UN is a school-sponsored club. So that's like, no different from going to an athletic contest. The Model UN conference, those are where those kids participate in their competition.
and those are their only competitions for the year.
Ski club, I think they rent the bus, correct?
Correct, and
Yes.
they pay for it.
So really, we're talking about the theater festival, because I think wrestling might take a bus as well, correct?
I don't
I think they
remember
said they
their
were doing
actual one,
minibuses.
but that, I mean, like last year they took a minibus, but they just didn't stay overnight because it wasn't board approved. So that, they were already taking the minibus for that particular trip.
And that's a contest.
Correct.
Okay. We could keep an eye on that. Does the board need additional time? So do you want us to, what we've tried to do, instead of bringing one a month, or over the last few years, we try to bring these all to get you the ones we know of, and then if something else comes up, we bring it to you. Does the board feel they want another board meeting to look at these? Because we could wait until the next September meeting to approve them. It's at the board's discretion.
I'll look to I think I'm ready to
Yeah,
vote for it. You guys ready to vote? Ready to vote for it? I think we can vote for it. Put a vote up there. So who wants to read the motion?
I'll read the resolution.
Resolution?
Resolved that the Board of Education, Township High School, District 208, Cook County, Illinois, hereby approves the following educational tours. Carthage College Model UN High School Conference, Kenosha, Wisconsin, on November 2nd, 2018. Model UN of the University of Chicago Conference, MUNUC, Hyatt Regency Chicago, February 7th through the 10th, 2019. Varsity Wrestling Tournament, Pontiac, Illinois, on December 7th and 8th, 2018. Wilmot Mountain Ski Resort, Wilmot, Wisconsin, on December 21st, 2018. Alpine Valley Ski Resort, Elkhorn, Wisconsin, on January 21st, 2019. Cascade Ski Resort, Portage, Wisconsin, on February 18th, 2019. Illinois High School Theater Festival, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, on January 10th through 12th, 2019, as presented in the September 11th, 2018 board agenda packet.
Thank you.
Second. I just have a question, Gary. You mentioned the ski team or the ski club rents the bus.
Yeah.
Like they'll do a first student, a yellow bus.
So
And then
what
we-
about the insurance on that?
We have an account with first student for field trips and athletic events.
Okay,
So then they just pay the cost of that bus, and it's all built into the student fee for that trip.
okay.
for the vote.
Ms. Towner?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Richards?
Yes. All right, move on to matters for closed session. Let's talk about personnel, student discipline, sale or lease of property, pending or imminent litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety. It's an opportunity for visitors to come up and give statements. Seeing no visitors, we will.
Resolve the Board of Education,
Thank you.
Township High School, District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, student discipline, purchase or lease of real property, probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety.
Second. What's the vote?
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Towner?
Yes.
Yes.